Automatic water pump controller. Here's an automatic water pump controller circuit that controls the water pump motor. The motor gets automatically switched on when water in the overhead tank, OT, falls below the lower limit. Built around only one non-gated CV4011, the circuit is simple, compact, and economical. It works on a 12V DC power supply and consumes very little power. Automatic water pump controller circuit. When the tank is filled above probe A but below probe B, water inside the tank provides base voltage to drive transistor T1 and relay RL1 energizes to make pin 13 of gate N3 high. However, water inside the tank does not provide base voltage to transistor T2, so it does not conduct, and the logic built around non-gates N1 and N2 outputs flow to pin 12 of gate N3. At the same time, water inside the tank also provides base voltage to drive transistor T2, and the logic built around non-gates N1 and N2 outputs high to pin 12 of gate N3. The net effect is that the output at pin 11 of N3 goes low and the motor stops pumping water into the tank. However, transistor T2 doesn't conduct, and the logic built around non-gates N1 and N2 outputs high to pin 12 of N3. Non-gate N3 gives a high output to drive relay RL2 and the motor restarts pumping water into the tank. The LEDs can be mounted anywhere for easy monitoring. The user can adjust the level to which water must be filled in the tank by adjusting the heights of probes A and B. The stand and adjusting screws should be insulated to avoid shorting.